In a quiet Pennsylvania neighborhood at dusk, everything seemed peaceful. Too peaceful. Until the sound of a single gunshot shattered the calm. August 6, 2017. 8:47 p.m. Michael McNew's neighbors heard nothing unusual, just the hum of crickets and the clink of ice in a glass. But inside this home, a 64-year-old man took his last breath. Not from old age, but from a bullet fired inches from his face. Police found no signs of forced entry, no stolen valuables. Just this bullet, and a life insurance policy worth $360,000. The beneficiary, Jennifer Morrisey, a name that would soon be linked to murder. And the killer left behind something else, a single perfect fingerprint on the whiskey glass. It belonged to someone Michael McNew once called the love of his life. This wasn't a crime of passion or a stranger's rage. This was the end of a 5-year relationship built on money, obsession, and a promise. Take care of me, and I'll take care of you. But when the money stopped, the bullets started. Before we unravel how a sugar daddy's generosity turned into an execution, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. What happens next? You won't see coming. Who pulled the trigger? The answer will shock you. In 2012, Michael McNew was a man adrift. Freshly divorced, his empty mansion echoed with the ghosts of a failed marriage. That's when he wandered into the Velvet Lounge and met Jennifer Morrisey. She was 28, a motorcycle-riding exotic dancer with a knack for spotting vulnerability. To Michael, she wasn't just a dancer. She was a lifeline. Jennifer didn't just sell fantasies. She sold escape. And Michael, he was desperate to buy. What began as occasional gifts soon became a lifeline. Jennifer's electricity bill, her rent, her legal fees, Michael paid them all. He wasn't just her sugar daddy. He was her safety net. But safety nets can strangle. Every payment tightened Jennifer's noose, and Michael's delusion. By 2014, Jennifer owed Michael everything. But debts like these, they're never forgiven. They're collected. In 2015, Jennifer moved into Michael's home. To him, it was a fresh start, a chance to rewrite his lonely story. To her, it was a transaction. A roof over her head. A wallet at her fingertips. But beneath the surface, resentment brewed. Michael's family saw it first. His son begged him to see the truth. Jennifer wasn't a partner. She was a parasite. But addiction doesn't listen to reason. Michael was addicted to the illusion of being needed. By 2016, the cracks were undeniable. Jennifer grew distant, her nights filled with mysterious rides on the Harley Michael bought her. Yet he doubled down, naming her his life insurance beneficiary, blind to the danger, love, or fear of being alone. For Michael, the line had vanished. Their sugar-coated fantasy was rotting. And when Jennifer found a new partner, a violent biker named Charles Kulow, the decay turned deadly. The illusion of control began to crumble in 2016, when a new shadow crept into Michael and Jennifer's twisted paradise. His name was Charles Kulow, a man whose criminal record read like a horror novel. Known as Ruthless in the Breed motorcycle gang, Kulow was a storm of violence, arrests for assault, drug trafficking, and armed robbery. To Jennifer, he wasn't a threat, he was a thrill. A way to rebel against the gilded cage Michael had built for her. Behind closed doors, Jennifer's loyalty split like fractured glass. Security footage would later capture her slipping out of McNew's house at midnight, clad in a biker jacket Kulow had given her. Phone records revealed late-night calls, whispers of plans forged in greed. "Drain his wallet dry," she told Kulow, "and we'll be free." But freedom, for Jennifer, wasn't an escape. It was a weapon. Michael sensed the shift. The perfume-stained receipts, the sudden girls' nights that lasted until dawn. 4 years, he'd buried his suspicions under cash and whiskey, But the truth clawed its way out one evening in 2017. He found a text from Kulow on Jennifer's phone, a photo of her straddling his Harley, her head thrown back in laughter. The same bike he'd bought her. What followed was a collision of rage and desperation. Michael stormed into her room, tossing clothes into suitcases, his voice trembling with a mix of heartbreak and fury. "You think I'll fund your gangster fantasy?" he screamed. "You're done. Get out." Jennifer didn't beg. She didn't cry. She stood frozen in the doorway, her eyes glinting like a predator cornered. Then she vanished into the night. But this wasn't a retreat. It was a siege. Over the next week, Michael's phone lit up with texts that blurred the line between threat and confession. "You'll regret this," she wrote. "I'll gut you like I'm field dressing a deer." Detectives would later call these messages a roadmap to murder, but Michael deleted them. He told friends, "She's just hurt. She'll come back." He was half right. Jennifer returned, but not for forgiveness. On August 6, 2017, she walked through his front door one last time, a .380 pistol hidden in her purse. What happened next wasn't a crime of passion. It was an execution. If this twisted tale has you on the edge of your seat, share it with a friend. True crime hits harder when you watch together. And don't forget, every like, comment, or share helps bring these stories to more viewers like you. The truth deserves an audience. On the evening of August 6, 2017, the walls of Michael McNew's Pennsylvania home witnessed a horror that would stain its floors forever. Jennifer Morrisey arrived just after sunset, her hands steady, her mind set. She carried a .380 pistol, a gun Michael himself owned, kept in his bedside drawer for protection. But tonight, it wasn't a tool for safety. It was a weapon of betrayal. The confrontation was brief. Michael sat in his favorite leather chair, the same one where he'd sipped whiskey and dreamed of a future with Jennifer. She stood over him, the barrel of the gun hovering inches from his forehead. There was no struggle, no time to plead. The bullet tore through his skull at a downward angle, piercing bone and brain before lodging in the backrest. A single shot, instant death. But the crime didn't end there. Jennifer's hand shook now, not from guilt, but from the cold calculation of survival. She rifled through Michael's pockets, turning them inside out. She snatched his Rolex, his phone, his laptop, props in a poorly staged robbery. She even wiped the whiskey glass she'd touched, forgetting the fingerprint already baked into its surface. Then she fled. But panic breeds mistakes. Hours later, she returned, creeping through the dark like a ghost. This time, she scattered Michael's belongings, knocked over lamps, and left the front door slightly ajar, a clumsy attempt to frame thieves. She buried his watch and phone in the backyard of Charles Kulow's mother, a woman who'd later tell police, "I didn't ask questions. I never do." By dawn, Jennifer thought she'd covered her tracks. She even sent texts to Michael's phone. "Where are you? Call me." As if the man she'd executed could still answer. But the truth bled through. When detectives confronted her, Jennifer spun a web of lies. "It was an accident," she sobbed, her mascara streaking like ink. "He grabbed the gun. It just went off." But the bullet's path told a different story. The downward angle, the absence of defensive wounds. Michael had been seated, calm, unaware of the danger. A prosecutor would later call it an execution, not a struggle. Meanwhile, the world watched in cruel fascination. News channels splashed headlines, "Exotic dancer kills sugar daddy," while social media erupted with jokes. Strangers mocked Michael as a lonely old fool, reducing his life to a cautionary tale. Few cared about the man behind the headlines, a grandfather who'd loved motorcycles, who'd paid Jennifer's bills even as she plotted his death. The cover-up unraveled fast. Gun residue clung to Jennifer's hands, despite her desperate attempt to wash it away. Cell towers placed her at the crime scene not once, but twice. And that life insurance policy, $360,000 with her name on it, sealed her fate. In the end, Jennifer Morrisey didn't just kill Michael McNew. She killed the illusion that money could buy love, or that trust could outrun greed. If this story has gripped you, share it. Every like, comment, or subscription helps us uncover more truths hidden in the shadows. Stay with us. The worst is yet to come. The trial of Jennifer Morrisey wasn't just about a bullet or a body. It was about unraveling a web of greed, betrayal, and the darkest corners of human nature. Inside the courtroom, the air crackled with tension. Morrisey sat stiffly in a navy blue blazer, her face a mask of forced innocence. But the evidence against her was relentless. It began with a jailhouse informant, a woman who'd shared a cell with Morrisey. She testified that Jennifer had smirked as she bragged about her new nickname, Sug Slayer. In letters to friends, Morrisey even signed off with hashtags, #NoRegrets, #SugSlayer. The jury recoiled. This wasn't remorse. It was pride. Then came the forensic scientists. They laid bare the cold, unshakable facts. Gunpowder residue clung to Morrisey's hands like a confession, even after she'd begged her boyfriend to urinate on them, a desperate, grotesque attempt to wash away the truth. The bullet's path sealed her fate. Fired downward into a seated man, no signs of struggle. This wasn't self-defense, the prosecutor declared. It was murder in its purest form. But the heaviest blow came from Michael's family. His son stood at the podium, voice trembling as he stared directly at Morrisey. "You didn't just kill my father," he said. "You killed our trust, our faith in people." Behind him, a photo of Michael flashed on the screen, grinning beside the Harley he'd bought Morrisey, unaware it would become a symbol of his doom. Outside the courtroom, the world debated. News anchors dissected the case, asking, can money ever buy love? Or does it just paint a target on your back? Online, strangers reduced Michael to a punchline. Sugar daddy turned sugar dead, one comment jeered. But in that courtroom, he was a man. A father. A victim. On February 15, 2019, the jury returned with a verdict. Guilty. First-degree murder. Life without parole. Morrisey didn't flinch. She'd expected it. After all, she'd written the ending herself. If stories like this keep you hitting next, help us keep them coming. Liking this video tells YouTube you want more true crime. Drop a comment below. Your voice matters. And remember, every share shines a light on the truth. Michael McNew's story didn't end with a verdict. It lives in the quiet warnings we ignore, the risks we take for love, and the price we pay when trust becomes a weapon. Jennifer Morrisey may never see freedom again, but for Michael's family, justice will always taste bittersweet. Michael McNew's story ends where it began, in silence. Not the quiet of an empty mansion, but the suffocating stillness of a prison cell where Jennifer Morrisey now spends her days. Her once glossy hair hangs limp under fluorescent lights, her eyes hollowed by the weight of life without parole. The $360,000 life insurance policy she schemed to inherit? It's just a number now, scribbled in court records, a ghost of the greed that cost 2 lives. Across town, Michael rests beneath a weathered headstone. Visitors leave Harley-Davidson keychains and handwritten notes. We miss your laugh. But his family rarely comes. The pain is too raw, the betrayal too deep. His son once said, "Dad thought money could fix anything. Even a broken heart." The world moved on, of course. True crime forums dissect the case in threads titled Sugar Daddy Slaughter, reducing Michael to a cautionary meme. But in the quiet moments, when the cameras are off and the keyboards fall silent, this story whispers a darker truth. Love can't be bought. Trust can't be forced. And when money becomes the foundation of a relationship, it's only a matter of time before the ground gives way. Jennifer's cellmate claims she still talks about Michael, not with remorse, but frustration. "He should have listened," she mutters, pacing concrete floors. Meanwhile, the bullet that killed him sits in an evidence locker, its copper shell dulled by time. A relic of a night when desperation pulled a trigger, and a man who craved companionship became a lesson in the cost of loneliness. We tell these stories not to sensationalize death, but to dissect life. To ask, what lines would we cross for love? For money? For escape? Michael McNew's grave holds no answers. But maybe, in the shadows of his tragedy, we can find the questions that matter. If these twisted truths keep you awake at night, you're not alone. Subscribe to Vic's True Crime Stories and hit the bell. The darkest chapters are yet to come. Your likes, shares, and comments don't just feed the algorithm. They give voices to the silenced. Until next time, remember, behind every headline, there's a human heart. And sometimes, it stops beating.